Hello.
Hey,
Hi.
who am I talking to? This is Matt Silva.
Hi, this is Helena. I'm standing in for Tammy tonight because they're at Northern Neck having the 1-year anniversary and having a prayer vigil this evening, so you're stuck with me tonight. And Mickey says hello, and everybody's applauding and saying hello. Yeah. How are you?
I'm doing great. Now might be a good time to say thank you to everyone for the letters. Recently gotten some letters from Lily. Not gonna say any last names. As well as Jackie and what was the other one? Diane. It's very interesting letters. Some good questions in there. I am going to my sentencing on the 25th, so that's getting closer and closer. And I've seen it happen before in the pod. People get closer and closer that day, and the tension sort of mounts, and I think it gets pretty unbearable because you start to get closer and closer to that time, and you realize that more or less inevitable, and there's nothing you can do to make things work out better. So a lot of people get very upset at that point. So it's a frustrating experience to go through, and I'm starting to feel that myself. It's a very frustrating experience, and I almost wish I could be like Solzhenitsyn and just be sentenced in absentia, just because I don't want to go through the process. But I have to be there, so let's see how it goes.
Well, if it's any comfort whatsoever, I can tell you that me and Mickey and Tammy and Nicole will be there in that courtroom for you as well. And I know that you have to, go through this process, like you said, and it's almost a double-edged sword, right? Because you know what you're facing, but at least there's some sort of at least end to all of this. You'll have some finality in what you're going to find out your sentence will be, and then you can kind of wrap your head around that and proceed. But I understand what you're saying. I mean, this has been just such a horrible, awful, difficult process for all of you guys, and it's just very sad. Mickey wants to know who your judge is.
My judge is Carl Nichols.
Nichols?
Nichols, yes. Yes.
Okay.
Yes. I would, yeah. So,
well, I haven't been in his courtroom for a sentencing in quite some time, but you do kind of have to steel yourself against the things the judge will say about you, because it can be a very demoralizing experience where, they say things like, well, I don't know. I don't want to make it any worse than it is, but just brace yourself.
Oh, no. I've heard so many stories from people already who went through the experience firsthand, and the types of things that are said to them.
Just know that just know that there are people out there that don't feel that way, and you have support and people that do feel otherwise, and it is hard to listen to, but it is, I guess, part of the. I don't blame you for dreading it.
Had to deal with before. I've been through a lot of stressful situations, in military service, and so far in this process as well, there've been stressful situations. But it's kind of it's a different animal compared to everything else. It's not a board, it's not a final exam. It's not exactly a disciplinary review or anything along those lines. It carries. It's very high, very, very high stakes, but at the same time, there's very little, especially at this point, that you can actually do to influence how things are going to go. So,
yeah, right.
I mean, and the toughest part for me I'm sorry.
No, I'm sorry. I was just to say it's literally your fate in the hands of people that can't stand you. So it is troubling and stressful.
Yeah. Well, we talked about this the other day. One of the toughest things about this is this sort of internal dialogue you get with yourself, and you watch other people go through the same thing where they say, well, this case is different, and there are X, Y, and Z factors that need to be considered, and maybe he's got to see what's real about this, and he's got to understand this, that, and the other, and they get themselves sort of psyched up about it, and then they go through the experience, and it's just like an unmitigated sort of raking across the coals. It's just a very, very hard process to experience, and there's no understanding or sympathy for a lot of these guys, and you just look at some of them, and they're just a bunch of old dudes, or a really young kid or something like that. It's just you want to help some of them out, and you can't even help yourself. So that's the way the situation is. But I'm sure I'll take some things out of it. Let's see, I've been in a submarine, and now I've been through jail. I don't know what else my life has in store. Maybe a trip to Mars. I'm not sure.
Well, we got to get you out of there, but that doesn't sound like a bad plan to me. Going to Mars and getting off this crazy planet.
Yeah, getting off of this crazy planet. Sorry, I just had some guys. I guess we got a new guy, and we're taking a function for the new guy. I haven't seen the new guy, so I don't know anything about him. He must have just walked in. So we got a new guy. Who knows where he is in the process? Yeah.
Well, and that's something else too, Matt. When you say you want to help other people, but you can't help yourself, you have to know that even just that attitude is helping other people, because it's such an unprecedented situation where you guys do have each other, and it is whether the prison system wants to classify you as a gang or not, it's a group, and it's a camaraderie among you guys that a lot of times people don't have. So at least there's that. At least you care for each other, and you want to comfort each other. So God bless.
Yeah, and we're working hard to try to keep everyone in high spirits, but it's hard. But we come up with things every now and then, like giving and sharing of ourselves and helping other people out. And a lot of times people will ask me, hey, can you help me with this, writing this or writing that, and I'll say, hey, I'll pay you. Payment in the pod is like a bag of chips or something along those lines. You don't have to give me anything. I just want to do it because I want to do it. I'm not interested in getting anything back, because at the very least I can do is just offer my time. I mean, and it's not like I have any other engagements anyway.
You're not too busy? Is that what you just told me, that you're just not too busy in there? You've got lots of time on your hands to be able to help people. That's really amazing, though. That, that's just some of the selfless things that you patriots do for one another. Sometimes you're kind of feeling heavy maybe one day, and then somebody else is, there to pick up for you, and you do the same. And, that's what makes, this mission, at least for me, really beautiful. Knowing that I can be reliant on others when I just can't handle things sometimes. And I know you guys have it way more difficult than us out here, but it's really refreshing to hear that you guys have so much camaraderie going on.
Well, yeah, and it's an interesting thing because, sometimes there will be personality conflicts, but then I'll remind people, hey, I've heard that, when monks, for example, live in communities, they sometimes get kind of snitty with each other, because it's like being married, to all these other guys. It's like, who left the milk out again? One of those situations. We aren't monks, so I think we work together. We still work together in a very cohesive manner, and we look after each other as much as we can. If someone's feeling down or feeling blue or something, we try to do something to help them out. We're not seeking to actively harm anyone.
Right.
I've actually had that experience in the Navy before, where you're new to the crew, and people just want to push your buttons to see where your limits are. There's actually a phrase for that in the Navy. It's called stealing your joy.
Yeah.
Some people get off on that kind of behavior. They're like, oh yeah, they love stealing your joy. So,
We know that.
Well, that is very true.
I've discovered though from my wife, who once filmed me being upset, that it helps not to be hilarious if you're mad. And I'm it's kind of like hilarious.
Or perhaps sarcastic in the
mad.
moment, right?
That's awesome. That's awesome.
It was amusing to me to see myself. I can't remember why she filmed it. Yeah. Oh, I can't believe that. And then she showed it to me, and I thought, that's hilarious. That's what I would do. That I would mess with that person all day if I was on the show. So that's rule number one. Don't be hilariously sad, and then people won't make you sad for kicks.
That is great advice. It's great advice.
Yeah, that's really good.
Yeah. Yeah, it's the kind of thing too. I mean, on submarine it's an all male environment, and so there's a lot of crossover between prison and that kind of thing. Although there are some major differences. One is that you're on a submarine, you have to be careful about how much water you use. I got water for days here, so that's not an issue. I can take a shower for however long I want. So. That's not the case on the submarine.
Oh no, there's time limits
no.
for showers in submarines on the submarine. You're
Yeah,
like surrounded by
so you
water.
can't-
What's the problem?
You have
No
to
filtration.
be very careful. Yeah, you have to be very careful about your use of water. Everything is low water yield, and like if you're taking a shower, you only run the water when you soap up, and then when you rinse, you don't leave it running. So kind of a different way of doing things.
Well, I learn something new every day. I had no idea that showers could be so uncomfortable on a submarine.
Yeah. There are worse things about those.
A little chilly too, I suppose. Turning that water off and on.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. Yeah, so, I guess we haven't got a new speaker yet. That's kind of a thing.
Well, actually,
You have
Jim
1
Jordan,
minute
just so you
remaining.
know, did get the nomination today. They're saying that he still doesn't have all the votes that he needs, but it's looking like Jim Jordan's going to be the new speaker. They'll take a vote next Tuesday. They've all gone home for the weekend, of course, but it seems like next Tuesday is going to be the day that we find out whether or not Jim Jordan is actually going to be Speaker of the House, and let's just hope that he is, and we can get him back to work and doing the things that they need to do for you guys. And I plan on going to Capitol Hill a lot in the near future. So
Greta's gonna get you.
Oh yeah.
Greta's gonna get us though, and I don't want that to happen. So we love you, and we'll hear from you when you call back to sing the national
love you guys
anthem.
too.
And
thank you guys for everything you do.
Thanks,
God bless
Matt.
you, Matt.
Yep, God bless you, Patriot. We
Yeah.
love you.
God bless you.
Good night.
Good night.